to totally change your career path? Let me introduce you to Morgan Willett. After winning Big Brother Over the Top in 2016 and appearing on MTV's X on the Beach and The Challenge, Morgan decided to pursue her lifelong passion for fitness by starting her own business.
Move like Morgan.
Morgan joined 10 Minute Talks to share how she forged her own path and how you can too. This is our conversation.
One of the things I love about your career path is you've done so many different things, but you started out in college majoring in broadcast journalism, which is also what I did, and also not something I'm using directly in the sense that I didn't go into local news, which was kind of the path that I was put on. Kind of going back, how did you originally decide that that's what you wanted to major in, and then how did you decide you didn't want to pursue that?
It's so funny. I just remember from a young age, I've always wanted to be on TV. I've always wanted to be in front of a camera. I remember my mom tells this story all the time. When I was like 3, I had these like pink pair of sunglasses and I was sitting in my car seat. And I just remember my mom said she looked back in the mirror and I was like, Mom, I'm going to leave you one day and go to California. So like just from like a small age, we always knew I wanted to be in front of a camera. So when I got to college, I was like, all right, how do I turn that love and that passion into a degree, a career path? So of course it was journalism. I figured I wanted to be like an on-camera reporter. I'm also horrible at math and science, so we knew that was out the window, any career associated with that. So we kind of narrowed it down to journalism. It's what I had always wanted to do. I was always kind of just a natural performer, a natural talker, chatty Cathy. So then I got to college and I started doing that. I had always been passionate about entertainment reporting, so that was kind of what I wanted to do. But I'm sure, like you realize, the glamorous jobs that we see on TV are not as easy to come across, especially now that TV is kind of a dying industry. So when I got to college, I started realizing very quickly in my interns with news stations and stuff like that, my dream job probably wasn't going to happen. So I kind of had to face reality of like, all right, this job on the Hollywood red carpet that I wanted for so long is probably not going to come that easily. I'm going to have to start moving to the middle of nowhere to be a reporter at a local news station. That's how everyone started. And I just realized that's not what I wanted to do. I'm props to the people who start small and build up. I think you totally can do it. But for me, I just wasn't ready to leave and go back to a small town because I'm from a very small town. I wanted to stay in a city. So I kind of let go of that dream, which to this day, I still wonder if I made the right decision. So I stayed in Austin. But then it's funny, I believe everything happens for a reason because I stayed in Austin and I was working my first job as a publicist assistant because it was the closest thing to journalism I could get, kind of doing PR instead of broadcast journalism. And I just remember I hated it so much. I cried after work every single day. And then a week later, Big Brother called. So it's just kind of funny how everything works out for a reason because now, even though my dad likes to remind me that I'm not using my college degree because I'm a social media influencer, as some like to call it, I still do use interview skills. I still kind of use my social media and my talking skills to work with brands, et cetera, et cetera. So I like to say that like life kind of has come full circle, but my advice to everyone, because everyone's like, what do? I don't like my degree. It's just like, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. Like, I feel like we put a lot of, and I'm sure you can relate to this, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves that we paid all this money and we went to school and we got this degree, so we must get a job in it. And it's like, no, we went to school, we got a degree. That's awesome. We learned a lot. I think college is a lot more about life skills than learning something, unless you're going to be like a doctor. But yeah, so you got your degree, but you're not forced to do that. You can still find a job in something you love. And I think society kind of needs to let go of that mindset. I think that's kind of an old school mindset that I believe for a long time. And then it's like, once you let go of that, everything will kind of fall into place. You'll find your job eventually. And if you're not working in the degree that you got something in, so be it. Like, you're still going to make money somehow. I think that's all that matters is we have a roof over our head at the end of the day.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I totally resonate with everything you're saying because I first met you the summer before my senior year of college when I interned at AfterBuzz, and as soon as I did that and I had an experience in the entertainment industry, I was certain I was not going into local news. But you go back to school and you're around peers who are chasing that goal and professors telling you this is like the path that you have to take. I almost considered taking a job in the middle of nowhere in local news, which is not what I want to do. It's so hard when you're dealing with all of that outside pressure. How were you able to push past that and come to terms with, I don't want to do what I've been on the path for 4 years to do.
I mean, it's definitely hard considering, like, I think about my father who wants nothing more than me to work a 9 to 5 and have health insurance and life insurance. And of course, I'm doing the exact opposite. So every day I'm battling, like, what do I do? Do I make him happy? Do I make myself happy? And you have to make yourself happy. At the end of the day, you deserve to enjoy what you're doing. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like, you've one life. You have one life. You can either spend it being miserable and pleasing society, or you can kind of try your own thing. And right now, I love what I do. I love that I get to interact with people. Yes, it's not the most traditional. It's definitely a little concerning. I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm going to pay my rent this month. Let's hope I am, but I'm happy and I get to do what I want. So I think that's at the end of the day, what's important is making yourself happy and understanding that jobs will come and go. It's worth at least giving it a try. That's what I want to tell everyone is at least try. That's all you can do is try. And then if it doesn't work out, then you can go back to where you started. You can always go back. You can always get that job that you gave up. You just have to try because again, life is way too short to be miserable doing a job.
Yeah, yeah. I love that you've pivoted so many different times and kind of created your own dream job in the company that you work with now. At what point did you know that you wanted to start your own business after having been on a few reality TV shows?
So it was honestly kind of when COVID hit was when the door opened up for me because I had always wanted to start this. I got so many requests of people enjoying the workouts I posted on Instagram, asking to work with me, asking if I did personal training. So I'd always wanted to do it. And then when COVID hit and gyms shut down, I realized, all right, this is my time. Like it's now or never. You either capitalize on this or you don't do fitness. Like it was one or the other for me. So I just decided to try it. It was very stressful. I'm not a business major. I never took a single business course in college. Numbers are not my thing. Business plans are not my thing. So learning how to do that and set up a website and set up a program and an app was definitely a learning curve. I'm very lucky to have help with that. But there were times when my website crashed and I had people be like, where's my program? And I just broke down crying and it was hard. So it's definitely not easy, but it definitely was worth it. And as bad as it sounds, like I'm honestly kind of thankful for 2020. Everyone hates this year and they think it's the worst ever, which I agree. It was very awful. But without everything that happened, I would have never created my business and I would have never had this thing that I'm passionate about. I wouldn't have all these women who care so much about fitness and have become this community. So in hindsight, I'm thankful for 2020. I hope next year's better for sure. I don't want another 2020, but definitely thankful for what it allowed me to create with my business.
What would be your advice for someone who is just starting to make the decision that maybe they can't find their dream job or they lost their job during COVID and they want to start their own thing? What would be like your top advice for just starting out as an entrepreneur?
Reach out to someone who's done it. That's the best advice I can give, whether it's DMing someone on Instagram, finding their email on LinkedIn. You can do a lot of creeping to find someone's contact information, I promise. But getting advice from someone who's actually done it is definitely the easiest way. Plus, what I'm learning is life is all about connections. It's all about who you know. It is all about who can help you out. So thankfully with my business, I befriended a guy who had done it before me, asked him questions, and he actually helped me make this and guided me. And so without him, I'd be clueless. So that's my advice is if you want to do something, find someone who's done it before, pick their brain, ask who they know, ask if they have any connections, something like that. And just know this year sucks for everyone. My sister lost her job. So like, I feel like dealing with her and seeing her struggle to apply jobs, just know that a lot of people are in the same boat. If you are not finding a job immediately, don't put all this pressure on yourself. Everyone is struggling and it's super hard. So just keep trucking, have a side hustle. I think that's super important is if you want to be this entrepreneur, yes, do that. Hustle after it, but also have something on the side, whether it's something just to give you a little extra income. I used to be an Uber driver when I first moved to LA. Like there's no shade on that. Like do whatever you can to get some extra cash because you're going to need that, especially if you're going to put it back into yourself and your business.
Yeah, you talked about your dad really wanting you to have a 9 to 5, which I think all of our parents want that for us. But this is such a generation of side hustlers. Everyone's juggling so many projects. You're running a company, you're also creating content full time, also working as an influencer, working with brands. How do you manage all of that? What's your advice for someone who's in a position where they're having to manage a lot of things?
Drink a lot of caffeine. Just kidding, not really. You have to stay organized. That's 100% the number one piece of advice. I have a Google Calendar. Like I told you, I was like, can you send me an invite via Google Calendar? Like I live religiously by that thing. I also have a paper planner. So if I forget to look at my computer, I can look at my paper planner. I also have a planner on my phone. So you just have to stay organized. Everything of mine is color coordinated. I have different calendars and different colors, so I know what to keep track of. That's the number one thing, because if you're not organized, you won't be able to do it. You'll get overwhelmed. Things will slip through the cracks. You'll get stressed out. So that's definitely helpful. I've also realized it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to do everything by yourself. I am the worst about that. I'm like, it's my business and it's my thing, so I'm going to do it all alone, and I don't want anyone to help me. And finally, I had to realize, like, no, I need help. It is totally okay to ask for help. Everyone does it. So yeah, ask for help, ask your people. I now have an intern. I have a team working for me. And it's just like, before that, it was all me and I was dying. And now I'm like, oh, so this is what it's like getting help. I can breathe, I can function. So yeah, stay organized. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Something that's interesting too about the world today is it's not just everyone has a bunch of side hustles. I feel like in almost any industry that you work in, you have to be active on social media, whether you're an influencer or you're a small business owner or anything on the spectrum. But that can be really taxing, especially with doom scrolling and with online trolls and everything that's kind of cropped up over the past couple of years. How do you deal with the mental health side of things?
Oh man, I'm not the one to give advice on this, because I won't lie, my screen time on my phone is like 10 hours a day, because it is my job to constantly be posting or responding to the 200 messages I get a day. And it is taxing. It is not good for your mental health. It's so funny. One of my New Year's resolutions was 1 hour a day, no technology, no phone, no TV, no computer, just to like kind of cleanse and like let my mind decompress. But it's hard. It is such a struggle, because we are told we have to post everything. And the more you post, the more following you get and the better your brand is. But at the same time, we're also told, well, it's bad for your mental health and you're on your phone too much. So it's like, what do we do? Like, you can't win right now. So my biggest piece of advice, which I'm going to try and listen to myself, is just find time in your day to put your phone up and be present. I'm the worst about it. I'll be having a conversation with someone and I'll be messaging a client on the side. And it's like, no, that doesn't work. You can't be present. You can't be in two places at once. So that's what I'm working on, is either pay attention to your phone and give yourself an hour to post on social media, to answer people, to build your brand, and then put it up and give yourself an hour to enjoy dinner and talk to your friends and be present, because you can't be two places at once.
The millennial thing to say is very much live your best life, but I feel like even when you get to that point where, like, you know, you've created your own business that's in an area that you're so passionate about, where you get to help other people and do something meaningful, and even though you might look like on the outside to someone else as someone who like has it all figured out, there's still people who place their judgments on that. You can't ever be enough or everything for everyone. Do you have any advice on following your passions and creating what is your version of your best life despite what other people think?
It's hard, because it's something I struggle with to this day, of I'm such a people pleaser. So I try so hard to make everyone happy, but you just have to do what you want, because at the end of the day, you really only have to make yourself happy. And what I've found is, if you spend all your time trying to please others, you're not happy. So is that worth, like, yes, everyone else loves you and you're making them happy, but you're miserable? Or you could be happy and not worry about everyone else. So you're never going to be everyone's cup of tea. I learned that the hard way. After being on reality TV, I'm like, I'm so likable. What do you mean you guys hate me? Like, I love me. But not everyone's going to like you. You just kind of have to accept that. And again, worry about your close circle. And that's kind of the only people that really matter in your life.
That was my conversation with Morgan. If you're interested in finding out more about her personal training business, you can head to her page at Move Like Morgan on Instagram or give her a follow on her personal page at Morgan Willett. If you want more career and life advice like this, make sure to subscribe to 10 Minute Talks wherever you listen and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Until next time, remember you're loved, you matter, and you've got this.